Hey everybody, SW here. I hope you're having a great day and a great start to your week. I have to give a shout out. I don't know who you are, so mystery person, thank you for subscribing to our channel. Now we're up to 34 subscribers, so we're getting much more close to that 50 subscriber mark, which will then enable us to take this podcast from a recorded set of videos to a live, in-person, interactive, back and forth podcast, which is what I've been intending it to be from the beginning. I just, built my own YouTube account for the first time and all these things. And then I've learned along the way that, you have to have certain credentials met before you can just go off and do that. So I look very forward to when that is the format of what happens on Glass Skulls. This is episode 14, by the way. I was blown away by that. Thank you so much if you've been sticking with me for this long, because I'm not going to lie, I kind of thought by now, people they'd stop viewing the videos, or they would, I don't know, they just were kind of over it. And I'm really not over it, and I'm not gonna be. So I'll be here. And the promise I made, where even if there's only one viewer, if there's at least one viewer, I will come back the next week with another episode, because I'm not here to go viral and have a million followers and subscribers. I'm not here to get famous off of a video that I make. None of that shit matters to me. What matters to me is helping other people better understand mental illness and different strategies you can use either on yourself or with others, when they're in crisis. So these are the strategies we've learned so far. Protect your peace, radical acceptance, journaling, distraction, relaxation, managing the environment, engaging in something you do well, stop thought strategies, meditation and grounding, using your people, music, and today we're going to talk about something called hurdle help. Now, I've been referencing, manage the environment, that strategy. When I talked about that came from the TCIS, so Therapeutic Crisis Intervention for Schools. It came from that manual. I just want you to know that hurdle help also came from that manual. So even though it's for schools, it doesn't matter. I've seen the ones that are not for schools, and it's the exact same content, more or less, in the workbooks and in the textbooks. So I just wanted to give credit where credit's due. So hurdle help. Hurdle help can be tricky depending on the situation and depending on how people behave in a given situation. So let's start by thinking this way. When a person is struggling to keep their emotions and behaviors in check, it does not take much to trigger a fight, flight, or freeze response. It is better to assist the person to regulate their emotions, self-soothe, or meet the expectation in the moment rather than laying down the limits and insisting on certain behaviors. Hurdle help means helping the person with the first steps of an overwhelming task. So maybe an overwhelming task for you is taking a shower. You've been very depressed. It's been really hard to, do the kind of hygiene, self-care stuff. And you, instead of taking the shower, what do? You flee. So that's a flight situation, right? You fly all the way to your bed. And I know it because I've been there. I've been trapped there too. So a piece of hurdle help that might get you out of that situation is I might phone a friend. That's kind of what I call it. I might phone a friend. I might reach out to one of my go-tos. And like, I want to make it very clear. I have a very short list of go-tos. It's not like I have a list of, 20 friends that I could call and, they'd be able to be there and help me. No, 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 no. Especially not about like stuff like this. So I called someone that was my best friend for many, many, many years. And she just kind of said to me, like, listen, like, I want us to go out later and do something fun or, get out of this apartment. But first, you have to take a shower. Like, it's time. It's been a few few days, few weeks. It's been bad. But that little bit of help right there. She was motivating me by putting right in front of my face, dangling that carrot of, oh, well, I know she's gonna want to go out. I know she's gonna want to dress up and have fun with the girls. I know she's gonna want to go out and dance. So she had me. She knew me well enough. She had the relationship with me well enough to know the things that would motivate me to change my behavior. And that is Hurdle Help in like a perfect box of an example. I have an example about fight. So I'm going to refer to this character as Noah because Noah was his name in my book, Scenes from My Skeleton Closet. You can get it on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, or Walmart if you're interested. So his name was Noah. Noah was my bougie rock star wannabe boyfriend at the time. And I had just gotten out of like a much longer relationship and then pretty much hopped into a new one. Poor coping. But he made all these promises to me. And of course, like any girl who's like into some guy and he's telling me everything that a girl would want to hear. Like he's telling me, I used to drink a lot, but I really have cut down because I don't want to do too much of that. It's not very good for me. Or I used to do cocaine and that's something I no longer do whatsoever. It is in my past. It'll never be part of my present or future. And that was a non-negotiable for me because I'm 11 years and a bunch of months clean from that particular drug. So, yeah, that was a promise that was, making him seem worthwhile. Well, one night, we both go to bed. It's like 9:00. I wake up. It's like 10:30. He's gone. His car's gone. He's gone. I tried calling him a million times. Not once did he answer. I was so upset. So upset. And I called my friend. Here's that phone a friend again. And described what was going on. And she helped me set up a whole plan of what to do that included like dressing up in a really nice outfit with beautiful high heels on and do my hair really pretty and curl it and put on makeup and strut across the bar where this idiot is drinking at 2 something in the morning and see what he does with that. Well, fast forward, we make it back to the apartment separately, I should say. I had nothing to drink. It was 2 something in the morning and I was like, I'm going home and like you need to come home too. Like you're all done. And he said, yep, I'll finish up with the guys. I'll be home. Great. Okay, great. Not great. I wake up at 6 a.m. He's still not there. Now I'm starting to like totally panic because I'm thinking, did he get arrested? Did he get into a fight? Well, he did end up showing right back up about an hour or so later, and he went to lay down because he was very hungover, which I can't imagine how or why that could have happened if you were like ripping tequila shots all night. Anywho, he goes to lay down in bed. I picked up his phone. I took some screenshots of some text messages and some emails. I sent them to his father and I said, I have to move out of this apartment immediately and I'm no longer safe here. So please get in your car and come meet us because my family is coming with their vehicles and we're going to get all my stuff and we're going to be out of your hair in no time. Well, Noah didn't like that plan. Once he put two and two together that I had contacted his father, he was like in a fit of rage, like roid rage. He swung so hard at my face, and I'm very grateful that he has terrible aim, and his fist went right through the drywall. But I will admit, I fought. I pushed him as hard as I could away from where I physically was, knowing he would fall down onto the bed. And then I just immediately like fled out of that room and was waiting until there were people of mine there to make sure I'd be safe. He is one of the only men that I've had any sort of involvement with that turned out to be more of a domestic violence type situation or relationship. I never saw that coming, like I said, and you know, I was so mad that he was not there and that he wasn't communicating with me and all this stuff. So, what was my hurdle help? Ultimately, I ended up fighting. It was a quick fight. It was more of a self defense, push loser onto the bed and walk away. But I still to this day like think about the fact that this individual, he also on a different occasion, like when we were at a bar in downtown Albany, me and some girlfriends, he was so inebriated and I think he was high as well. But he came up to me. He was yelling at me from the second story balcony of one of the clubs, and he came downstairs and he threw both hands at me and pushed me and shoved me as hard as he could. Luckily, I got pushed into a group of like 7 really big dudes who, even though they didn't know me, they knew, oh hell no, we don't do this. Men don't put their hands on women. So he was promptly thrown out of the bar like a frisbee into the middle of the road. Yep. So there was my hurdle help in that situation. If I didn't have those guys, I don't know what I would have done there. But yeah, other than those 2 instances, I can say that, anything else was contained to more of arguing with words, which is much more civil. I hope that you enjoyed these lyrics. I've been roaming around, always looking down at all I see. Painted faces build the spaces I can't reach. You know that I could use somebody. And that's called Use Somebody by Kings Leon. You know that I could use somebody. That sticks in my head when I think about hurdle help, because you need like, I really can't think of an example where you wouldn't need a real live breathing human being to intervene, to be that hurdle help. Like, I really just don't know. But we could all use somebody at some point or another, maybe every single day, at like a point where we're thinking about people that we grieve, or we're thinking about stress, like financial stress. You might be thinking about heartbreak. You might be thinking, I need to lock myself inside my house and not come out for a while. And you can do that. I mean, that's certainly your prerogative. But for me, I'm grateful as hell for Hurdle Help, because it makes me feel like it's my permission slip to say, hey, I need you now. Like now. Not like in a few hours if you're available to chat. Nope. It's like right now in this moment, I'm starting to escalate. I'm starting to get upset. I'm starting to have symptoms. That's when you have to head it off. So just remember that. Okay. And then I think there'll be lots of different things you can try with Hurdle Help. All right. Well, I can't believe it. Time's already up. It flies so fast. If we do get to do these live videos, I'm hoping to do 20 minutes each time. So we will see. All right, everybody. If you did not subscribe yet and you want to, please hit the subscribe button. I think it's down here somewhere. If not, maybe it's not, and I'm just drawing nothing. But please subscribe, and I will see you guys next week. All right. Take care, everybody.